to be honest, I just left the gym, and I literally just cannot stop thinking about the fact that I cannot work a 9 to 5. I have not worked a 9 to 5, and please, before I even get into this, I'm not shitting on people who work a 9 to 5, and I think I probably will grab another 9 to 5 once I like truly finish out my last semester of college, to really knock down a lot of like to really put up money, because I would like to buy land and to build a tiny home. So I think I will get a 9 to 5 just so I can have like multiple streams of income, but once I get my degree. But I will honestly say I cannot work a 9 to 5. I can do a lot of things, like I can force myself to do a lot of things, but I don't think I can work a 9 to 5 and be happy. And I haven't worked a 9 to 5 type of job or any like retail or type of job since I was like 18. I'm about to be 25. I've literally just been hustling and making money this whole time, and I just can't do it because I'm at the gym. It's a Wednesday at 12 o'clock. At noon, I would typically be on like a break at work, trying to get lunch for 30 minutes. And then like I just can't work a 9 to 5. I don't want to do it. And then people think like, oh, none of these 20-year-olds want to work. No, that's not the case or the reality. I just don't want to do something where I can't see the benefit in what I'm doing it for. I just can't convince myself to work 40 hours a week for the next 40 years till I'm 65 to try to retire, to only enjoy my body for like 5 years. I can't do it. I really just can't do it. I literally just cannot do it. And I know everyone's like, I don't want to work a job, I don't want to work a 9 to 5. Like, bro, I've done it though. Like, I literally did it for years. When I worked a job, I got a job at like 16, and I worked for 3 years, and I just could not do it. Like, I used to get violated at work by people's language and mouths and their cattiness over the most simplest things, being degraded by managers, being degraded by other employees, being degraded by workers, being like, bro, first of all, nobody talks about when you're young and like a minor working at a job, how many older men that work at the job will literally try to talk to you, will literally try to sexually harass you on a day-to-day basis, knowing you work there and knowing you like have to work here. It's absolutely nuts. But outside of that, before I even get too deep into that, my whole point is, you degrade yourself. Me personally, I was degrading myself for money. And I just can't bring myself to do that. And when I tell people I would rather work for myself and just make it, and literally just make it, and to be comfortable. I ain't saying poor, because I don't want to be houseless. I do not want to be houseless. I do not want to be foodless. I do not want to be carless. Yeah, okay, so if we can meet them needs, I literally don't care. And I went to college for 7 years just to have this feeling of, I don't want to work a 9 to 5. I don't want somebody telling me what to do. I don't want to conform, because no. And the thing is, no boss is going to pay you enough money to be their boss, or to even sit at the same table with them, to go out to lunch with them, and to be able to afford the same meals. They're not paying you that money. Nobody is. No, I'm just being unrealistic. And not only that, it's literally modern day slavery, where you have to ask, damn, I'm sick, can I get off work? Can I get off? I'm sick. I'm literally like, I be hearing my family be like, oh, I can't come, or I can't do this thing, or I can't do that because I don't have time off from work. And then the thing is, I feel like because I haven't worked in so long at a traditional job place where I have to go clock in and do all of that, I'm kind of out of touch with reality when I be having these conversations with other people, and I'm like, okay, let's just go, and they're like, oh, I can't, I don't have time at work. I'm like, just come on, like, let's just go. Well, it doesn't work like that. I'll get a point at work if I don't come. What? Like, I know somebody who gets a point at work if they're 2 minutes late. 2 minutes late and you have a point and you only need 3 points to get fired. That's literally modern day slavery. That's 3 strikes, you're out. Like, that doesn't make sense to me. And then people are like, oh, I don't want to do entrepreneurship, it's scary, there's no job security. Baby, you don't have any job security. You miss work once on accident, or you get stuck in traffic and you're 5 minutes late, you have a point, another point, I would be fired in the same week. Because sometimes shit happens, life happens, and it's just literally modern day slavery to me to be like, you have to be here at 7 a.m. If you're here at 7:02, I'm gonna fire you. If you do it 2 more times like you're a child, that's treating people like they're children. And I understand it's a job and you want people to show up when they need to show up, but I mean, there's no leniency, there's no common courtesy. My mom's job, before she left her job, I'm gonna be honest, I sometimes be convincing people to quit their jobs and to just figure it out. And my mom low-key quit her job and figured it out, because you can figure it out. Like, you don't have to go clock a 9 to 5. And the thing is, if you do want to use a 9 to 5, use it as a startup fund for yourself. Don't take your 9 to 5 money and then blow it at the trinket shop and give them all the money that they literally just made you work hella hard for, and give it right back to them buying dumb stuff. Like, oh, I gotta get this, I gotta get that because I worked so hard and I feel like I need to spend this money. Now you're stuck in a consumerism trap, versus being like, damn, I gotta work this job, I really don't like this job, let me just meet basic needs and save my money up, stack my money up, and find a way to invest in myself, whether that's a business, whether that's real estate, whether that's, I don't know, learning a different type of trade. Like, even if you're gonna work, this is my thing with people who want to work. You want to work, cool, whatever. Why don't you just go learn a trade, though? Something that you can learn on your own, where you don't have to work for somebody else. You could go learn how to do roofing, carpentry. You could learn how to do electrical, plumbing. Like, if you're gonna work a 9 to 5 type of job, you could probably be better off just learning trade work or like some type of contract work. Because I'm gonna be honest, punching in 9 to 5 at Amazon probably not gonna get you the life that you really want to live. Even if, bro, when you do the calculation, I'm not gonna lie, this is literally mind-boggling to me how many people scream, I want to be a millionaire, I want to be a millionaire, but don't realize the statistics on being a millionaire. You're just screaming that shit out into the void. And that's why I've kind of subtracted myself from being like, oh my god, I just need to be a millionaire. If it happens, it happens. If it doesn't, it doesn't. Like, who's gonna trip out about it? But we're gonna work towards that in the event that it can happen. But outside of that, knowing, once you realize that you cannot work a 9 to 5 job and become a millionaire, bro, you will realize how much time you're wasting, unless you're trying to take that 9 to 5 and use it as a startup fund into $1 million, like something. Who knows what it's going to be, but it could be something. If that's what you're striving, I'm just saying, to the people who are literally actively screaming that they're striving for $1 million, working a 9 to 5, I don't understand how you're really going to do that unless you're literally pouring that money into something else. Because even if you make $100,000 a year, that's them taking no taxes, which we know is not about to happen because this is an economy and they want that money. They literally want your money for working every day. Don't you realize how nuts that's it? It literally is nuts, but I'm not even going to get too deep into that. Even if you make $100,000 a year, they take no taxes out, not going to happen, and you have zero expenses for these next 10 years, then you'll have $1 million. You have to have zero expenses. Don't buy no gas, no coffee, no food, no housing, no anything. You have to work for 10 years straight to get $1 million. Now, most people aren't making 6 figures. Let's be realistic. Let's say you're making 50. A lot of people I know that are working right now don't make $50,000 a year. And when I kind of learned that, like, bro, you're literally working 40 hours a week and you're still not even clearing 50K. I'm sorry, bro. That was like baffling to me, because in my honest opinion, I truly believe that it's like 50K a year for one person to live comfortably right now. In my honest opinion. And I know they be like a family of 4. I don't really believe that, bro. I think it's like one, and maybe a cat or a dog can live off of $50,000 a year. Now, I know that people are more frugal and can, like, you know, do other things, but I'm talking about living comfortably, not like hungry every day, not worrying, not checking your bank account over your shoulder every 5 seconds. I think that's one person a year that's having no like crazy bills. Some of y'all be having an $800 car note. I literally could not even fathom doing no shit like that. like when sometimes I be talking to people that be having like these jobs, and I be like, oh yeah, I have an $800 car note. I can't just quit my job, baby. I know, because I would have never did no shit like that. I would have never said I'm about to get an $800 car note. Like, you lost me. You literally lost. That is nuts to me. Somebody I know has a $1,200 car note. What? Bro, that's a 1-bedroom downtown. Like, that's literally, honestly, I'm lying. A 1-bedroom downtown, where in my city, in Detroit, is $1,800. I think that's literally nuts. And I think maybe my concept of money is just like, no, that's kind of nuts. Like, I'm not gonna pay. It doesn't matter to me if that's the current economy. If I can't resonate with the price of something, I'm just not gonna pay for it. And I think because of that, I feel less inclined to work a 9 to 5. Yes, I still have things that I want and that I desire. Obviously, I want my car, but I don't need an $800 car note just to be like, I'm driving this particular car with this model. Like, it's still a car. And my car is like a 2018, 19, 20. I really don't know. And it's perfectly fine. Like, she literally has less miles than some of the people I know that have like a 2022 or 2023. Like, we got to make it make sense because y'all driving around too. Honestly, though, y'all drive around a lot. Y'all be like, I have 100,000 miles. I'd be like, bro, I have half of that. like, where have you been? Like, where did you go? But not the point. Working a 9 to 5, though, just to pay $800 a car note every month is literally nuts to me. I cannot understand how y'all are like even waking up every day, going to your job, driving your car, and being like, yeah, this was worth $800. Because you have to think about the time, like that is being spent. To me, it's less about the money and more so about the time that is required to obtain a certain thing. So let's say hypothetically, you make like $20 an hour, right? And it's gonna take you 5 hours to make $100, right? Now you need $700 more before you get to $800. The fact that you literally have to work 40 hours to pay an $800 car note, if you make $200, if you make like $20 an hour, that's literally nuts to me. I'm sorry. You want me to work 40 hours? 40, bro, like, I don't think y'all be realizing how much time that is. 40 hours? Oh, in a month? To just pay for the car you gonna drive? That's not the insurance. That's not the gas. That's not registration. That's not tags. That's not maintenance. That's not your oil change, your tires when the snow want to hit the ground. That's none of that. That's just to drive it, bro. I'm not doing it. Y'all act nuts. I'm not even gonna lie. I feel like y'all parents don't be telling y'all that. Like, I'm so glad my parents talked to me and was like, bro, do you not realize how nuts that is? Like, my parents showed me the value. I think it's so important for your parents to teach you the value of money. Do not get me wrong, but I think some parents, they only learned the value of money, so they don't teach their children the value of time. And I'm so grateful and blessed that my parents taught me before I got like super old and out of shape or whatever, the value of my time. Like, I can never get this time back in my 20s. My mom is such an advocate for like, bro, just live your life. Like, you have so much time to work. Like, you have literally, my mom is so big on that. You have so much time to work. If you want to work a 9 to 5, bro, whatever, you have so much time to do that. You have so much time to buy a house. You have so much time to just get any ridiculous car note and just get settled down and locked into the idea of paying bills. But while you have the chance to be free, bro, and I can't even say like I'm super free because I still have things I have to pay for and to live and to eat and to like survive. So you're not really free when you still have to do all of those things. But I'm talking about being trapped into a like $800 car note, how y'all are, or a $2,400 rent. Like, that's lease. Like, that's literally nuts to me. I'm just not bringing myself to do that for anybody. I refuse to try to convince myself that I need those things, because in actuality I don't. And I think that's the biggest thing, is like, some people's needs are so high that they're forcing themselves into an early grave trying to work a 9 to 5. And it's less about the 9 to 5, like I said, it's more about the modern day slavery, because you've been convinced that you need these things by ads on the TV telling you, you need this car, you need this, you need that, because it can literally convince you to slave your time and your life away for a company who doesn't care about you, who, if you get sick, hurt, or you get 3 points, they're gonna fire you and replace you with somebody else by the end of the week. It just starts like pouring down. I don't know why, but I mean, Michigan, it gives that. But that's just kind of my whole thought process on it. So I know that the common thing is like, I don't want to work a 9 to 5 this, 9 to 5 that. But also, yes to everything that the people are saying, but no to what the people are saying as well, because I'm not against working a 9 to 5. I just don't want to be a modern slave. My people were enslaved long enough. So you're not gonna get me at a job and try to make me a modern day slave, telling me when I can eat, when I can use the bathroom, when I can take time off, when I can do what I want to do, and think that I'm gonna want to do that for the rest of my life. Like, I just can't see myself doing that. Maybe for a little while if I absolutely have to, but I'm not even really planning on it. If it comes down to it, I will grab a job, because like that's the way that my parents raised me, is you do what you have to do while you have to. Like, you do what you have to do. This is what my parents taught me. You do what you have to do what you want to do. And sometimes you can't do what you want to do before you get to do what you have to do. Does that make sense? Like, sometimes you have to do something to be able to do what you want to do, and sometimes you can't skip past that doing what you have to do. But that doesn't mean that you have to do that thing forever. And I think some people get into these jobs and they're working these jobs for so long that they start to like believe that this job is the end all be all. And I don't want to get into that mindset or that position in life where I think that a job is the absolute end all be all for myself or for my life. So I just necessarily just won't really subscribe to the idea that a 9 to 5 is everything, or that a 9 to 5 comes first. I've heard people say that their job was their number one priority, like above their family, their life, their health, their dreams, their ideas of travel, like just their entirety of their life. They have put that job above everything. And I hear that a lot in older people who have worked a lot, like, oh, my job is my number one priority, or I had to do all of this just to work. But at the same time, like, you kind of chose that based off of having these high needs or having a lot of responsibilities. Like, having an $800 car note is a big responsibility. Having a mortgage that's $2,400, $3,200 is a big responsibility. And then you see all of these people trying to push other people to do that with high interest rates, with, you know, like just low credit scores, just all of this stuff that I see, honestly, versus trying to convince people. I won't even say convince people, but trying to show people that acquiring more things does not mean that you will have more. I'm not gonna lie, I'm looking like sitting here listening to this video like right before I post it for y'all. I really didn't edit it too much, but at the end it got cut off. But I was basically saying, don't mind my background, I'm working on this skirt, I'm shipping this hat out and I got this like vacuum in the back. It's ghetto right now, but I was basically saying that acquiring more things doesn't mean you'll be happier. Honestly, I kind of believe that song that's like, the more money, more problems, because the more money that you have, the more that's going out, the more things that you have to manage, like a car, a house, a mortgage, all of these things. And that's not to say that money isn't a necessity. I just think when you place value in things, believing that things will give you happiness rather than like actual human connection, then like you're kind of bound to be in a limbo of like unhappiness. Whereas if we kind of strove as a society to push people in the direction of creating a meaningful life outside of their job or their means for survival, and not glamorizing a 9 to 5 and working 40, 60, 80 hours a week, depending on the job that you have, we would like understand why so many people are struggling and are depressed and are anxious. And that's kind of why I just can't work a 9 to 5. It's less about, oh, I just want to be an entrepreneur, but more so I just want to have control over my time. And people who own companies like Steve, well, he's dead, but like Bill Gates, or the people who own Sephora, I'm just like naming random things at this point, but like people who own things and businesses who aren't working every day, they have more control over their time, and they're not asking people, hey, can I go to my kids? And they're not asking people like, hey, can I go to my kids' kindergarten graduation? Do you think I can take the time off to go on a holiday with my parents who are old and just want to go out of town, and I've never been with them, and I can afford to pay for them and myself, or like whatever the case may be, you know what I'm saying? But it's just like, you have to ask for the time. Even if you're making enough money at your job to where you feel comfortable, is it enough that justifies the time that is spent? How do you find the value of a human, you know? And I know like sometimes it's dictated by the job. It's like, you're a doctor, you're a teacher, so we should pay you this much. But like at the same time, how do you put a number value on what a human life is worth? And why are some jobs being paid more you know, even when some are seemed as more necessary for everyday life. My whole point to say any of this is the time that we spend doing anything should be worth it, and it should be something that we love to do, especially if we're gonna do it for 40 hours a week. I just feel like we should find jobs that reflect 40 hours of our weeks. You know, if you're gonna give this much time up to a job, you know, you're gonna give your job 40 hours, the absolute least that it can do is one, pay me a true livable wage, not minimum wage, a livable wage where I can enjoy my life, and two, I should be able to moderately like it 70% of the time. A C. Can I like it 70% of the time and not feel miserable for 40 hours of my week? And I just feel like until I can find a job that will make me feel that way, and that's just not all about me being egotistical, trying to get money and making another person rich who wouldn't work the same job as I am doing, because that's why they're paying me to do it, because they don't want to do